Okay. How do I get this on the right screen? Oh god, every time it just wants to go on its own screen. Annoying me. Right. Ugh. Excellent connection. Have we finally fixed the internet? Hello. How are we doing? Right. I'm just waiting for TikTok to do its magic. And then, oh yeah, there you go. Oh, that's the magic. I don't know if you're looking at the screen or if you're just listening. Evening, Silver. How are we doing? Are we all good? Internet connection seems a lot better than last night, which is always good fun. That's what I like to see. Unfortunately, this is a short live. Only about an hour and a bit. Maybe just about an hour. The reason for such a short live tonight is because I have a call with Philip at Irish Medieval History, who some of you may know I do a lot of work with, and we are putting our heads together for a couple of future. Also speaking to Owen O'Neill from Forest Fierce, the channel, the YouTube and TikTok channel, to put our heads together for possibly some upcoming projects and to try and basically turn the algorithm around, because YouTube at the minute is a tough battlefield for the algorithm, for getting the views, and we need to sort of turn that around. So yeah, we're just, so tonight's a short live, about an hour, like I say, and I'll try and get through as many names as I can. Try and get through as much history as I can. But what I can promise is at the end of this live, and after my meeting with Philip Irish Medieval History, there could be some great works in the pipeline. So we'll get started with the name that's come up the most here. Although one individual has put his name a few times, but this name's come up from multiple people on multiple chats, and that's Madam, who are part of the Ivina tribal group. So those of you that want to know what the Ivina is, this is Ivina, and they were ruled by the O'Kellys. Yeah, so they're found in Galway, basically. Last time I checked, you said they were physicians, which is totally incorrect. Well, I have them as physicians in one of my notes. I have them as physicians. So all I can say is that either the sources you looked at don't mention it, or the source I looked at was wrong. But I can't really go much more into that until I have a look at the sources again and check it out. But I have them as hereditary physicians on my notes. So let me see if there's any more information on it. No, I don't have any more on that page on my notes for the video, but they're in my hereditary physician list. So I'll redouble check it, Paul, and I'll get you a source for for the next life when I go through my sources. I'm terrible at numbering where my sources are. I'm really bad at it. So I'll have to redouble check through all my PDFs and books. But I will get you a source. Because that's what you do. You come at me with a claim, I make a statement, you come back at me with a counter argument, I'll come back at you with sources. Or no sources, and in which case, Paul, I'll put my hands up and go, do you know what? I got that wrong. But until then, I'm sticking to my guns until I've done the research. So yeah. Anyway, so I hope that suffices, Paul. But please feel free. Arguments, counter arguments, debates, all welcome here. I will not be offended, will not be hurt. We're all here to learn. I learn things every day. Like I was meant to do the video on the Cahan, the Canes and the Keens that was meant to come out today. But I ended up finding out some more information that I need to double check. So it delayed my video, unfortunately. But this is because I want to make sure that all my videos have the most up-to-date information we have. Okay, so Burns and O'Shea's and Murphy's. Right, firstly first, right. Burns, I have a full video on YouTube. Bork is Burke, is a variation of Burke. But I'll get to that in a second. Right, so I have a full 30-minute video of the O'Burns on my on my YouTube channel. All the history you could ever want to know about the O'Burns of Wicklow, and they're one of many branches. It's also interchangeable with the O'Burns of Roscommon. So there you get many that use that variation of the name too. But there are multiple unrelated families in Ireland. There's branches up in Ulster, but this branch is definitely the most famous. But I have a full video of them on YouTube, but we'll just say Wicklow for those that want to know the location. Someone said O'Shea's. O'Shea's, I have a video on TikTok, a short form video, but they're part of the tribal group called the Corcadivna, who ruled a part of the Kerry Peninsula. They were ousted from their lands by the O'Sullivans and McCarthys and the Fitzmaurices, and sort of by the 15th, 14th century they sort of are not a land holding family per se. They go more to administrative roles, being stewards for the likes of the O'Sullivans. What else? Murphy, I have a full video on my YouTube, on my TikTok channel. It's one of the most recent videos, but one of the branches descend from the McMurroghs, who were part of the Kinshillag tribal group of Wicklow. But you also have another branch who are related to the Collins family, and they migrated south into Cork with the Collins family into McCarthy lands, due to, again, Norman encroachments into their lands. They were part of the Econal Gavra tribal group, who I believe are a branch of the Evienti, which is, just for those of you that don't understand that sort of terminology, they're part. This is the wider king group, the Carbery. So this group produced the Collins and the Murphys, and then they moved into this area here. Let's go back to my map. Kinshilla is my mother's maiden name. Yeah, the Kinshilla take their name from the Kinshillag, which was the main tribal group of the area. There you go. Oh, I don't think you can see that. Hang on, let me move across. The Kinshillag. So yeah, let's see. That's where the Kinshilla name comes from. That's an Anglicization of Kinshillag. O'Hanlon's. Yep. B. If I can scroll up. There's the O'Hanlon's from South Armagh. Well, mid-south. They're from their Tandragee is their sort of ancestral heartland. Wee village of Tandragee. The castle that exists today, which is actually I don't know if it's still a Tato Crisp factory, but it's certainly a museum to it. Maybe I don't know if they still make Tato Crisps actually at the castle. They probably do within the grounds, but anyway, that castle is a remodeled castle on top of the sort of an ancestral castle of the O'Hanlons. O'Kane, yeah, O'Kane. I'm actually going to do a video on the O'Kanes tomorrow. It was meant to come out today, but I've found some more information that I need to check up on, and it's delayed the video. Because I'll just explain this one. Are the Collins originally from Ireland? Yeah, I just talked about them. I'll get to them again. So here you go. They're part of the Econal Galva, but there is a Collins obviously from England too. But Collins is an Irish branch. There's an Irish branch here. Most of them moved down to Cork in the 14th century though. Sorry, as I was saying, the O'Kanes. So they come from O'Cahan, or O'Kane, or O'Kane, O'Cahan, O'Kane. They're all variations of. There's two sort of personal names it comes from, like I said, Cahan or Keen, and they're interchangeable. So you've got O'Kane, O'Cahan, McCahan, O'Keen, Keen, and all the variations of spelling you get with those sort of things. Anyway, primarily the most famous branch is the Ulster branch, who ruled from pretty much from the area of Keenock, Limavady, all the way to Coleraine. They're the most famous branch. There is another branch who are part of the Efiacra. That the F isn't actually how you pronounce it, but it's the Efiacra Ein, and so that makes them related to the O'Clearys, the Hines family. O'Shaughnessy's. So there's a group down there. There's another group that's from County Clare. I believe they're Dalcash. Another group that are from the island of Scattery, and they could be. They claim there seems to be. Well, let me just get out. Okay, but there's another group there, and then there's a couple of other. There's another group from Waterford who are who are a branch of the O'Donovans. Anyway, but and then there's obviously the McKeans and the McCahans from the Isle of Man and Scotland. So, as you can tell, multiple origin points for the surname. The thing is that I'm seeming to find is that quite a few websites are claiming a Norse descent for the southern branches of the family, with the from Scattery to Cork, and Waterford and Wexford. So I need to look into that. There you go. There's another group there. Okay. But like I say, the Connacht family came from the Efiacre Ein, and the Ulster branch came from the Neil or the Kinaloan, who so it makes them distantly related to the O'Neills. In fact, they were co-inaugurators with the O'Hagans, with the O'Neill of Tyrone Kings. So so they're definitely there's definitely a lot of O'Kanes and Cahans and floating around, loads of different branches, but like all Irish surnames, there's normally more than one branch of the name. So yeah, so we're just hi Ernest. Do you know anything about the Goonin, please? Goonins is a variation of gunning, which makes them a Dalcash family. They're from County Clare. Is Lynch and Leon the same? No. No, they're not the same. Well, I don't know. Right, okay, I sounded very like definitive with that. Lynch and Lindsay come from the same branch. Um, but yeah, they I don't know. I don't actually. I don't think Leon and Lindsay come from the same eponym. I'll have to actually find out what the eponym is for Leon. Right, I'm gonna cheat here, but only because I don't know Irish. Like my Gaeilge's terrible. So I'm gonna cheat and find out what the eponym is for Leon, and then I'll tell you if there's any relation whatsoever. Oh, and of course I don't get any internet connection. I'm McDonald. We spell it McDonald from the Glens of Antrim. Yeah, McDonald from the Glens of Antrim. Scottish family that came across, branch of the McDonalds, descended from Somarley or Sorley, and settled in Antrim in the 15th century, 14th, 15th century, through their marriage to the Bissets. One of their lords married into the Norman family, the Bissets, and that's how they ended up coming across. Yeah, they ended up fighting the McQuillans and the O'Cahans for ages. Right, I would have checked up on that Leon, but unfortunately, for some reason, my internet connection is terrible. Wow. All right, so I'm not gonna be able to double check on that one. I'll let you know. Whenever I do the Leon video or the Lynch video. But anyway, Lynches tend to be right. So just for our Lynches. Are primarily from Antrim, from Donegal in Fanad. These are part of the Dalriada. These are part of the Kinlochonal. And then you have the Lynches, the Lynches of Galway, where the Joyce word is there. That is a possibly Norman family, maybe Irish. They claim Irish. But who knows? I guess I'm not either, but you don't have to. You do the same name over and over. I know. A lot of people ask the same names. It's kind of. I kind of try and look out for some. Moran, I have a video on the Morans. I have a video on the Morans. It literally came out yesterday. Yeah, I want to avoid as many as I can, but there's only so many names, really. I mean, I say so many. I mean, some names are obviously more famous than others, shall we say? Could you do Finland? I've asked a lot, but I think you miss it all the time. I do, but I didn't miss it today. Yeah, Finland are found in Westmeath. I don't know who they're. If they're Westmeath, they could be descended from the Southern Enial, but Finlands tend to be from Westmeath. Oh, excuse me. Guess who's back day? Day, mate. I don't stop. No, and I promised you it was. Well, I don't know if I promised, but I told you it would happen today. Unfortunately, I found some new information about some new branches of the O'Kanes. Two branches actually. A branch supposedly from Mayo, and a branch supposedly not related to the O'Cahans of Antrim, but another O'Kanes. Coming from a different eponym but anglicised the same way, and I need to research those. I might not find anything on them, but I need to research them. So the video will come out tomorrow. So it'll be day 9. It'll be day 9 by the time you get your video. Day 9. 9 days of asking, and technically you missed a couple of days. You left me out. You left me alone for a couple of days. Yes, Dorothy has to be there. It is there from Inishowen. And so is McDade. Someone's asking about McDavitt, McDade. They're all McBride, Kilbrides, all from here. Branch McDermotts are from here too. Someone said McDermotts. All from Inishowen, all part of the Kinlowen, all interrelated. And then obviously the most famous McDermotts are from Moylurk. McGuire's from Fermanagh, part of the originally part of the Kingdom of Archela, as has expanded out of Monaghan, it pushed into here. The Maguires became Lords of Fermanagh. I'll call my special last comment. Yeah, I don't know where you're based, but it'll be out by sort of just after tea time, Dublin clock. So let's say 1800. Ward is probably the most famous branch is from Donegal. Wards, although there's an English branch that settled over here. There's Castle Ward just outside Strangford. There's a branch there. I can't remember when they arrived. They arrived quite late. You're talking 16th century, 17th century. But there's a Ward branch from native Irish Ward branch from Donegal. But yeah, that's them. Do you have any info on Harrigan? Yeah, I do have information on Harrigan. It's quite numerous. But there's branches in Donegal, and then there's branches in Cork. I can't remember who they both descend from. I can't remember if the Cork branch of Kinolera or Owen Octor. Off the top of my head, I'll have to remind and revise on that branch, on that family. Especially being from Cork, sometimes you can sort of differentiate between them based on location. But I can't figure it out. But yeah, Cork, Donegal, and I believe there's another family in Laois as well. But I'm not sure who any of them descend from. I just know they exist there. That information actually comes from I don't know if anyone's interested in sort of researching names. Hang on, sorry. One of my acquaintances, I won't even call him friends, is messaging me. It's just some guy in a WhatsApp group who's over in my country and might find himself disappearing. Right, anyway. um, right. So if Bork is a variant of Bork, which area or group do we come from? My family are travelers, so I'm literally no clue where it started. um, to be fair, Bork is one of the earliest variations of Burke. So it can be any branch, and also the Burkes were um, landholders in Ulster too, before they became landholders in Connacht and Galway, or Mayo and Galway. The two main branches were the Clanrickard and the McWilliam Burkes, but there's no way to say which branch from. But either way, you're going to descend. They still descend from the same individual, which was I can't remember his name, but it was a Burke who came across in 1172 with Henry II. Rush. I don't know that. I know of Scottish branches of Rush, but I don't know any Irish branches of Rush. I'll have to look into that and see what I can find for the Rush surname. I've not ever any info on Doyle. I literally have a video on the Doyles. Walsh is a name that can be found in any country, any county, and purely because it means there's no. First off, I'm just gonna to say there's no Irish branch of Walshers that I can find any written records about. Walsh seems to be a descendant of a Welshman, and we've had multiple migrations of Welshmen arriving starting with the Cambro-Norman invasion. Actually, technically earlier, we did harbour some Welsh exiled kings, and they were given small land holdings in Leinster. They adopted a Gaelic name. Can't remember it for the life of me at the minute. But we have Welsh soldiers being employed by the Cambro-Norman invasions of Ireland from 1169. Well, technically a year or two earlier, but we'll use that starting date. So, but the early colony of Welsh settlers actually failed. A lot of them returned back to Wales, and then we would have multiple waves with every English army, Norman army that came across to Ireland. It was equipped full of Welshmen, and a lot of them settled. And a lot of these Cambro-Norman lords, like the Fitzgeralds, were also landholders in Wales as well. So they were obviously moving people to and fro. Now, so there's no way of knowing which part of which migration group your individual Walsh ancestor would be from. They could have been here right from 1169. They could have been here from, right up to the early modern period. And the plantations of Ireland. So it's kind of hard to tell, and is there any of my mods in? I just need to block someone from my life. Yes, it's kind of hard to tell who you would descend from. He's distracting me. I'm sorry. Any knowledge of the O'Hare's family? The O'Hares, yes, they're a Fidienti family too. The Fidienti. So related to the likes of the Collinses. um, Loads of lands for Burks. Yeah, I've got a friend called Bork, probably a German Scandinavian. I gotta check Chat T. I would not check Chat GPT. I did try Chat GPT um, a few months ago. I wanted to see if it would make my job easier. It did not. The information it gets is ridiculous. Um, so I mean, yeah, Bork could be a German Scandinavian name too. It's a lot of these names have variations to the wider world beyond the Isles of Ireland and Britain. Um, so, yeah, that's just one of the problems we have with surnames, and we obviously have Germans settling in Ireland with the Palatines. Um, we have Palatine settlers, Palatine Germans settling in Ireland. So you know, there could be a branch. There could be a branch of them. Uh, Surname Fort. Hmm, that's a new one. I imagine that'd be quite hard to distinguish as well, because if you put Fort into some sort of Google search engine or something, it would just come up with, like, if you put imagine if you put like Fort Irish surname, you just get every battle ever. Uh, you would just get every sort of the Irish fought these guys, the Irish fought these guys, and you're just like, no, I'm looking for the actual surname Fort. I'll have to look into that one because I've never actually come across that, and I wonder if it's because it's just one of those names that seems to get, um, uh, sucked into the great unknown. McSherry's were Gallowglass family, so they're McSherry, primarily I think based around Cork. I do have a Gallowglass clans video on YouTube that sort of marks some of the lands, the areas that they were associated with, um, and yeah, so there's that.